In a peaceful village nestled among rolling green hills, there once lived a young shepherd boy. At a tender age, he was given a very important job. Every day, from sunrise to sunset, he would take the village sheep up the hillside to graze. The villagers placed their trust in him, for the sheep were their livelihood, providing them with wool for clothes, milk for cheese, and food for their tables. Now, this might sound like a simple task, but for a boy who loved noise, games, and the company of others, it was far from easy. Up on that lonely hill, there were no friends to play with, no exciting games, and no one to talk to except the quiet sheep and the whispering wind. At first, the boy tried to make the best of it. He'd lie on his back and imagine shapes in the passing clouds. He'd practice his aim by throwing small stones at distant bushes. He'd even sing songs to the sheep, his voice carrying softly across the meadows. But as the days turned into weeks, the silence started to feel heavy, like a thick blanket. The hours stretched on endlessly, and a deep sense of boredom began to creep into his mind. He found himself wishing for anything exciting to happen, just to break the monotonous routine of watching sheep chew grass all day long. One lazy afternoon, as he was dozing under the shade of a large oak tree, he remembered the villagers' stern warning. If a wolf ever comes, they had told him, you must shout as loudly as you can, and we will all rush up the hill to help you. A mischievous sparkle lit up his eyes. He pictured it all in his mind. The villagers dropping their tools, their faces etched with panic, as they scrambled up the hill. The thought of such chaos seemed incredibly funny to him. Without a second thought for the consequences, he leaped to his feet, took a deep breath, and yelled at the top of his lungs, "Wolf! Wolf is attacking the sheep! Help!" His voice echoed through the valley, reaching the village below. Down in the fields, the villagers froze. Hearing his desperate cries, they grabbed whatever they could find, pitchforks, sticks, and heavy stones, and raced up the steep hill, their hearts pounding with fear for their precious flock. But when they finally reached the top, panting and out of breath, they were met with a confusing sight. The sheep were grazing peacefully, and there, in the middle of it all, was the shepherd boy, bent over with laughter. "I fooled you," he managed to say between his giggles. "There's no wolf. It was just a joke." The villagers were not amused. They were tired, sweaty, and their relief quickly turned to anger. "This is not something to joke about," one of them warned him sternly. "If you lie to us like this, we might not believe you when you truly need our help." The boy, however, barely listened. To him, it had been a moment of pure, harmless fun. The very next day felt even longer and more boring than the one before. The memory of the villagers' panicked faces kept replaying in his mind, and the temptation to do it again grew stronger with each passing hour. By the afternoon, he couldn't resist. He ran to the edge of the hill and screamed even louder this time, "Wolf! Wolf! Please come quickly, the wolf is here." And once again, the good-hearted villagers dropped their work and rushed up the hill, their minds filled with worry. And once again, they found no wolf, only the boy laughing at their expense. This time, their faces were filled with pure anger. "You must never, ever lie like this again," they scolded him, their voices sharp. "One day, you will regret this foolishness." But the boy just rolled his eyes. He thought they were all being far too serious. A few days later, as evening began to approach, the sky turned a gloomy gray. A cool, unsettling wind blew through the tall grass, and the sheep started to huddle together nervously. The boy felt a strange sense of unease, but tried his best to ignore it. Suddenly, his ears picked up a sound that made his blood run cold. A low, menacing growl. His heart nearly stopped. From behind a large rock, a real wolf emerged. Its eyes were sharp and hungry, its body lean and powerful. The sheep began to bleat in terror, scattering in every direction. This was no joke. This was real danger. Panic seized him. He scrambled to the edge of the hill and screamed with all the strength he could muster, "Wolf! Wolf! Please help! It's real this time! Please, you have to believe me!" His voice cracked with fear, and hot tears streamed down his face. He shouted again and again, waving his arms desperately. But down in the village, the people heard his cries and simply shook their heads. "Oh, he's playing that foolish trick on us again," one said to another with a heavy sigh. "We can't just abandon our work every time he decides he wants a laugh." No one moved. No one came to help. The boy's desperate cries faded into the evening wind, unheard and unanswered. He was completely alone as the wolf chased down the terrified sheep. By the time the predator finally slinked away into the woods, several sheep were gone. The hillside was eerily silent. As darkness fell, the boy slowly made his way back to the village. His head hung low, his heart heavy with guilt and sorrow. His clothes were torn, and his face was stained with tears. When the villagers gathered around him, he whispered, his voice trembling, "There really was a wolf. I was so scared. I shouted and shouted for help, but no one came." The villagers looked at him, their expressions a mixture of sadness and disappointment. An old man stepped forward and placed a hand on his shoulder. "We wanted to believe you, child," he said gently. "But when a person tells lies again and again, people stop trusting their words. After a while, even the truth begins to sound like just another lie." In that moment, the boy felt a deep, sharp pain in his chest, a pain that was not just from losing the sheep, but from the crushing realization that it was all his own fault. He finally understood that trust is a precious and fragile thing. Once it's broken, it can't be easily put back together. From that day forward, the shepherd boy never told a lie again. He did his work with honesty and integrity, and he always spoke the truth, even when it was difficult. And slowly, over a long period of time, the villagers began to trust him once more. But the lesson he learned that day on the lonely hillside stayed with him for the rest of his life. The story serves as a powerful reminder. Honesty is a treasure that must always be protected, because without trust, we are truly alone. Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content that makes you think. See you in the next video.